you ever feel lost or stuck in life? Maybe you're facing a tough business decision. Maybe you're in a relationship that seems to be going nowhere, and you're just not sure what to do. Or perhaps you're going through a major life-changing transformation and need some guidance. There's no reason to face life's obstacles alone. Mari Rose is a life intuitive, author, and teacher, helping to bring new light to your rapidly changing world. She's here for you, to channel guidance to assist you in navigating your daily life with a renewed sense of clarity, empowerment, and joy. For a personal reading with Mari Rose, call her at 702-807-6495. That's 702-807-6495. Or you can visit her on the web at mari-rose.com.
Welcome to Change Your Layers, Change Your Life, your home for learning about an enlightened approach to self-awareness and the art of higher consciousness. Now here's your host, Mari Rose.
Welcome back to Change Your Layers, Change Your Life. My name is Mari Rose. Every week we have a wonderful topic, and today's topic is going to be life before death. And that is just an amazing topic today because we are approaching the autumn season, and it's part of what we experience on a daily life. Things are changing, and there's a lot of conflicts and duality as far as the spiritual consciousness, the awareness that we're in. We have conflicts about the good and the bad that's happening, the struggles in the human soul. You know, modern psychology always has the same fundamental problems, and it's about the life instinct versus the death instinct, about the pleasure principle versus the reality principle. The pleasure principle is something it's about the selfishness that we experience. It's about how destructive we can become. And then we have the reality principle that also has to do with, I have a lot of duties, I have a lot to do, I have projects, I have this, and we don't give ourselves time. So although I speak on spiritual consciousness, we're all facing the same thing. Either human psychology or what we speak on is also something to do with our awakening, our process. And a lot of it is psychological, and a lot of it is part of what we experience on a daily life. So I just try to bring a different perspective about what we experiencing, how we're experiencing, and what makes up that dynamic type of change and the things that are happening. There's a lot of conflicts in what the man we're on this little path that man is exploring. We're having struggles with work. We're having, creative things. We think that this physical body, that's all there is, this core body, and we're experiencing with the conflicts. Maybe we have fear of death, possibly, and we're dealing with fear about this duality, and the duality is part of that soul, that ego, and part of the problems that we have as far as the ego and the spiritual consciousness. How do we become more aware? We're always looking for completion. We're always looking for fulfillment in some form, but we don't know how to necessarily find it. We find problems in life. We create shortcuts for ourselves. We avoid any type of conflicts or afraid to face them. We don't look at things strictly, face to face. We don't look at them. We superimpose the answers we're working on. We're possibly masking a lot of things that we surround ourselves. Do we really tell ourselves the truth? We avoid it. Many times we have religious people that are out there, and we're clinging onto religion. Why? Because out of fear. Because they touch on that control mechanism. They want to control. So that's part of the religious belief. It's not that religion is bad, but it's sometimes we cling on to it because there is some significant type of not being able to let go. So be careful with that. We work with less significant things in our life and the way we cope with things. We feel we have a lot of fear, misconceptions about the word happiness, and sometimes we relate the word happiness to religion. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to not use the word happiness, but I'm going to use the word bliss, so we can replace it. So that way we have a different meaning, a different understanding. Because once we change the meaning to a word, then we're able to understand it in a different very psychological type of way. And we do have a different attitude. If we had a different attitude, a healthier outlook towards death, and death is not necessarily just the finality of our emotions and I'm going to perish and I'm going to die. It's about the death that we have on an emotional level as well. We have a lot of things that are going, and we have a lot of life force when we deal with the word death, because it's part of what we're trying to avoid on a normal basis. We have a lot of struggles. We can be, maybe we're trying to commit suicide, or someone has committed suicide. Well, in doing that, we're really coming closer to the word death, the closer to the death experiencing. And whenever we gain bliss, we're trying to gain a happiness, a part of and I had told you I was not going to use that word happiness, but we're trying to gain that fulfillment that we're looking for. Many times we go again into religion or idols that we may be experiencing. Maybe we practicing to Buddha or Moses or some other idol. Well, then you're giving a lot of your beliefs away, and you're actually worshiping this type of idol, this type of weakness that's why it's the motive behind it. Let's give it to someone else in order for us to be more fulfilled. If I give my problems away to an idol or religion, then we're now not serving ourselves. So we have to be very careful, because religion is sometimes an opiate, just like material is an opiate to the material, to religion. So we have different modalities that are working. The solution is confront the fear. What do we do? It's about the death. It's about not passing on, and it's about not going to the other side. It's about the death of our fears. It's about the daily lives that we have. I had a caller, and he said, I'm having a lot of issues. I said, I'm really angry. People are always telling me that I'm a lot like my parent. And my parent was really angry. They were very controlling, and I am not like that at all. And I see a lot of that in him. And I said, you have to many times just come to terms that you are like that, because that way you have now start to discover what your weaknesses and what you're trying to control, or how you're trying to manage your way through life. By admitting it helps you release the anger that you have towards that parent. So it worked perfectly in today's topic, because it's that duality, that part of that dual nature that we're experiencing. And if we don't have the duality, we have a greater life force, the ability to see, control, to let go, to love ourselves. It's the understanding of death that we have to come into. It's the illusion. It's like the sand. It's infinite. That's what we have to start to come to terms with. We face uncertainties. We come to terms with it. It's that dual nature, and that's how we perceive the world. It's about creating our life with the fear of dying, and it's really not about the death. If we die, we may have a better life than the one that we're experiencing now. We have to look at it in a broader way. If you stay alive, it's interesting, because a lot of people will experience, if I stay alive, how can I stay healthy? If I avoid happiness, and how I avoid pain, and how do I stop from getting hurt? I have a broken heart, I have a broken relationship. So it's part of the death that we also experience. It's not just about the finality of our physical body. It's the preoccupation of our thoughts. And that's the way we see the world. It's about maybe pushing medications. And I saw an ad, it was wonderful. It said, have you saved money for your cancer today? Isn't that wild? And that is exactly what I'm speaking on, is about the fear of death, and how do we get past that? It's about creating the relationship. Oh, I had such a bad relationship. I had a bad partner. Do I have enough money? How can I push through things? The ego, it's through the ego's belief system that we're creating all those fears. So let's start to understand that, so that way we can kind of move through that. It's about, dying. It's about preparing ourselves for death. We go out and buy a cemetery plot. We pick the right clothes that we're going to be dying in. I will leave a will to this and leave a will to that. And it's like, and there's nothing about not preparing yourself. That's wonderful. I'm glad you are. But you surround yourself about all about death. It's about living, and it's about living right now. That's what's most important. And it's just, death is like a very small part of us. It's about making friends with the death. It's about creating this enjoyable place that we're in, because death could be something even more enjoyable in another lifetime. Maybe you pass on to be an angel. Maybe you pass on to be another lifetime that's more enjoyable than what you're experiencing now. It's about the uncertainty we have with ourselves. It's almost as though you send a child to an amusement park for the first time, and this child is terrified, does not want to go. And when he or she comes back, they love it. They want to. So it's part of that same unknowing that we are experiencing, that we are so fearful of the unknown that we don't want to face it. And that's what we also experience in this physical body. We don't know about it, so we're afraid of it. I had a question. Someone emailed me a question, said, where do we go after we pass? Well, we go through a transitional state. And that transition is that we become aware of our divine essence and our duality. Don't forget, the duality is part of the ego and our spiritual consciousness, our awareness of what's going on. And it's part of the vessel that we have in our bodies, and it's just a very temporary holding place. This is nothing but a physical encapsulation, a type of holding place for the chakras, and that's in the chakra that we're talking about is the energy fields in our body. It's about how we go in, and then what happens through that transition, we become aware of ourselves in that conscious level, in that spiritual level, and then we go into a transitional state. That transitional state is that you have come across every living being that you have connected to in this lifetime, and how you've connected to them. You feel their pain. You feel how you loved them and not loved them. It's about connecting to that emotional level, that energy that comes and and you're affected by it. So that's the exchange. It helps to open us our consciousness, and you're in that perception of whatever may have happened at that time, how you affected them, how you didn't love them, and it's a vast exchange. It's in this physical body that we can't, because we have limitations. We're encapsulated, and it's a very limited type of environment that we're living in, because our bodies only expand as tall as we are, as wide as we are, as light as we are, whatever that is. But in reality, we're expansive. It's energy. That's all we are. I had another question. It says, if we have pain, will I have pain if I experience death? And I said, no, there is no pain, because it's part of the ether body. The ether body separates ourselves from the physical body. Don't forget, the ether body is the one that enlivens everything. And so once it separates, it's a very natural death. It's part of the natural way that we experience it. It's a comfortable way. It's about releasing this physical entrapment that we're in. And we had another question. What we create in life, is it something we experience? And I said, to a certain degree it is. So if you pass, and if you believe in darkness, and you believe in hell, and you believe in all the negativities, then you'll go into that belief system. And if you believe in eternal life, and once you're going to experience that wakefulness and of that part of the eternal life that you know that is real. And that's part of the level of consciousness that you need to experience. It's about working with your spirit. And then when you work with your spirit and you work with your consciousness and the awareness, it's about really connecting to our truth. And that's what we are, is connecting to the truth. It frees ourselves from the untruth that we know. The fear of unknowing is what entraps us in this physical form. So open your minds, and that's what this picture is all about, is about really connecting not into the emotional state, but also to that conscious state. Psychology plays a big place. Let's open our minds to different modalities. And the entrapment of our belief systems, and there may be our religion or a material that we experience, and we place value on them. So what we're also experiencing is this fear of not knowing, and this fear of unknowing. Many times we become intrigued. what is it that's different? How can I experience this? How can I change this? The being intrigued by what's out there and what we don't know opens us up to more consciousness, awareness. It's about, and you won't be fighting a sickness in order to be well. You won't be fighting unhappiness to obtain happiness, and that's what happens most of the time. Maybe we're fighting evil to find good. Maybe we're fighting, drama, not to have drama. So it's very intriguing. It's about, we explore the spirit and the joy and the peace that we have. Why not become powerful creators the way we know, and we can work on many, many, many levels. It's about creating loving light and maybe joy in our life. So let's start to work and formulate those energies around those topics that we normally don't experience and we don't normally see, because it's part of the busyness that we have during the day, or the self-destructive energy that we may be experiencing, or the fear of death. So let's start stepping fully into this role of who you are, so we can experience more harmony, more balance, more peace, and then more love. And let's stop being afraid of the word death, because death is the one that dominates our energy, and we're fearful, if I die, I will not have this completed. If I die, then this will happen. If I die, oh my gosh, I have to stay healthy because I may, develop arthritis, or don't worry, we all get there. So let's come into our own power. I hope this helps. I think we have a caller. Do we have a caller?
Yes, hello.
Hello. What's your name?
Hi. My name is Shauna.
Shauna, thank you for calling. What's your question?
Well, since you're talking about death and everything, I want to ask you, every year about this time, I always get depressed, and I wanted to know if you could help me figure out why.
Well, let's see, Shauna, let's get into your energy. There was a major loss when you're about 3 to 5 years old, and it feels like a feminine energy. Who passed about that time?
Yeah, my grandmother. When I was about 5, she died.
She died. Okay. And why is she coming into your dreams? I see that she may be coming into your dreams. Are you having dreams about her?
Wow. Yeah, I did. I just last week, and then I think about 2 weeks ago.
I think what was her name? Do you remember her name?
It's Mildred.
Mildred. The feeling that I'm picking up around Mildred, I just feel that she is trying to let you know that she's okay. You're concerned, and the reason you have a feeling of fear around that, I have feeling that those emotions, those feelings that a great loss to you may have experienced about 3 to 5 years old. I just feel like a little boy or little girl's crying and crying and crying and crying, and she doesn't. You don't know why that person has left your life. And I feel like you never came to terms with it. And I would like to let you know that she's okay. I'm sensing and feeling her energy right now. And I do feel like she's happy. She's happy that you're an adult and you've done well with yourself. You've accomplished everything that she would have loved to seen in you as a child, and even exceeded her expectations, she's saying. I do feel that you're needing to come to terms with her death and say, Grandma Mildred, thank you very much for coming, and I'm still feeling the great sadness, the great loss, and that's part of the sad energy that you're also experiencing. We also go through emotional change during seasons, and that's part of also my book, where it does explain what those seasons are and how they change on emotion. That's part of what you're experiencing. Other parts would be just the loss of her love and not being there, because I'm feeling that you're with her all the time. I don't know why I'm picking up that feeling. I do feel that she is in a happy place. I think that you're partly more or less keeping her here, because we tend not to give out, not been able to release them, or, a deceased person, and they're here for us, and they're here to help us. They're here to guide us. They're here to kind of walk us through something. And I feel that she's ready to move on. She's ready to move on to another level, another dimension, be happier, maybe come in and reincarnate herself. But she's more or less still hanging out for you. So I need for you to say, Grandma, or Mildred, I'm glad you're with me. You've protected me. You've guided me. She seems like she's a little bit of a guide or someone that's been helping you through this. And she's coming in real strong because she's also saying, I need to go, but are you okay? So I hope that helps. That's what I'm sensing and feeling about her. And if you start to work on letting her go and letting her become peaceful and loving and know that she's always there, just because she's not physically there doesn't mean that they're not guiding us and they're not with us. The reason she has passed on because it was her time, but she's still there for you to help you in many, many ways. She just comes in a different energy, which means that she's talking to you through your dreams or helps you with your singing or helps you with your career of some sort. I hear her singing, so that may be also something that could help you. Okay, does that help?
She used to sing a lot to me. This is great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, my dear. You can call back next week. We're here open for questions here at the Thunderbird with All Talk Radio, and come back next week, and I do have another question that this came through. And I think it's from Tina, and she says, there has been someone that has been coming to me in dreams or the sense and feeling. So Tina, you're extremely, extremely sensitive. I'm also picking up your energy. Your energy is growing, and it feels like when I'm in your energy, it feels like expanding, and it's because of your beautiful energy, your sense of well-being, your joy, the kind of the what you've been trying to excavate for a long time and you haven't been able to, and you're starting to grow. It's like a big, beautiful light that's just growing and expanding. I love your energy. But this person is a female, and I see her very tiny. She's almost a little bit chatty. I'm picking up that type of energy around you. It's almost like, okay, hey, shh, be quiet, because I feel like she's really chatty. She's trying to guide you. You're because of your energy kind of expanding, because of your energy is kind of moving into another wonderful dimension of growth and spiritual consciousness and awareness. You're attracting different guides, and she's a guide for you right now. If you need to, your dreams are very significant, Tina. So what I suggest for you to do is to ask her, now, what are you here for? What can I help you with? And you'll hear an answer. I feel in your dreams or in or out of that awake state or fallen asleep state, and that way you can help her with transitions. She doesn't know where to go. She feels like she's a little bit lost, and that's why she's kind of tapping on your shoulder and going, hey, listen to me. But she is a chatterbox. I hope this helps. And if it doesn't, we'll work on it some more. But I think that she's just there for you to guide you in this new level, this new place that you are in. And your energy is beautiful. I love your energy. And I'm so glad that you asked that question. So next week we do have Change Your Layers, Change Your Life, and if you have a question, please email me at mari@mari-rose.com, and be happy to answer your questions. Or you can always give me a call for private reading on the phone at 702-807-6495. And if you want a copy of my book, you can also email me, and they're always up for purchase. I do have an event this weekend and it's a book signing party at Pen and Palette at the Art Factory on Charleston. I didn't bring the address, but you can always contact me, and you will be able to see me live, and I can talk more about my book and the things that I'm doing. So from my heart to yours, I send you my love. Change your layers, change your life. Until next week. Bye-bye.
Do you ever feel lost or stuck in life? Maybe you're facing a tough business decision. Maybe you're in a relationship that seems to be going nowhere, and you're just not sure what to do. Or perhaps you're going through a major life-changing transformation and need some guidance. There's no reason to face life's obstacles alone. Mari Rose is a life intuitive, author, and teacher, helping to bring new light to your rapidly changing world. She's here for you to channel guidance to assist you in navigating your daily life with a renewed sense of clarity, empowerment, and joy. For a personal reading with Mari Rose, call her at 702-807-6495. That's 702-807-6495. Or you can visit her on the web at Mari, M-A-R-I, -rose.com.